And I'll take it. So far this year, banks around the country have failed at the fastest pace since 1992. And the private equity firms angling to buy them have been discouraged by the FDIC. Now Bloomberg News has uncovered the backdoor that these firms are using to get around the regulators. Sue Keenan has that story. Sue?
Creative maneuvering here. We're finding that major buyout firms are using a creative backdoor, if you will, to buy failed banks. They're using a tactic that made some private equity investors billionaires back in the 1990s. They are buying small banks that are still in business, banks with assets of under $1 billion, and using their new status as banks to buy failed banks that can then be merged or sold later to make a lot of money. Now, the trend emerged in April. 3 well-known private equity firms are among those agreeing to buy stakes in at least 5 banks since then. Moelis Capital Partners, Thomas Lee Partners, and Carlyle Group. Moelis Capital, the private equity arm of Ken Moelis's boutique investment bank, buying a Texas lender called Opportunity Bank. Funds backed by Carlyle and Anchorage Advisors agreed last month to buy about almost half of the Virginia-based Hampton Roads, and last month THL Partners agreed to pay just over $134 million for a Spokane, Washington-based lender. In at least 3 of these cases, here's what's interesting, this tactic required approval from the Treasury, which owns stakes in many of these small banks through its bailout efforts. Capital infusions in the Hampton Roads and Sterling banks, for example, are all contingent on the government writing down its investment.
Well, when it comes to the FDIC, though, Sue, they are discouraging these private firms from taking ownership, aren't they?
Absolutely. The issue is risk. The FDIC doesn't want these private equities controlling collapsed banks, concerned they might take on too much risk. And of the 83 banks that have failed so far this year, they've only allowed 2 so far to have them go to the private investors. This new backdoor may make a difference.
All right, our Sue Keenan, thanks so much.